with a sentence he said just a few days ago, and that was, the purpose of this exercise is to ensure that we will continue to have innovation in Europe, clinical trials in Europe, manufacturing in Europe, and access in Europe. Please welcome on stage EU Commissioner for Health, Olivér Várhelyi.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to the first edition of the BioCap Investors Conference. It is good to be here in Berlin, of course, with all the researchers, industry leaders, startups, and investors gathered around one shared question. How do we turn Europe's scientific excellence into the next generation of health innovation? That question is of the utmost importance today, I think, because Europe's healthcare systems are among our greatest achievements, and that their universal coverage is one of the strongest expressions of solidarity. But these systems are under pressure like never before. Our populations are aging. Chronic diseases are rising. Health workforces are stretched, and costs are increasing. Without a much stronger focus on prevention and innovation, universal healthcare, as we know it, will become harder and harder to sustain. Germany knows this very well, and the country is implementing now very important reforms to strengthen the care, modernize the hospitals, and make the health system more sustainable and resilient. At the same time, digitalization, supported by EU funds, also offers major opportunities to reinforce our healthcare systems. Across Europe, we need to make sure that patients can benefit from the latest treatments, diagnostics and technologies, and that they can access them in time. But this is becoming more and more difficult. Geopolitical tensions are rising, supply chains are under pressure, and Europe's share of global clinical trials has continued to decline. That matters because clinical trials are not only a scientific milestone. They also influence where new pharmaceutical products and treatments are launched. They influence also where companies invest and manufacture. And ultimately, they influence where patients gain earlier access to the most innovative treatments. So the question for Europe is clear. Do we want to be a continent that discovers breakthrough science, but sees it developed, financed, and scaled elsewhere? Or do we want Europe to be the place where science becomes innovation, innovation becomes investment, and investment becomes better care for patients? For me, the answer is very clear. Europe has world-class research. We have a strong pharmaceutical manufacturing base. We have excellent scientists, clinicians, and entrepreneurs. But we're still too weak in the step in between, turning scientific discovery and excellence into marketable products, scalable companies, and treatments that reach patients. And very often, the missing ingredient is capital. Access to risk-tolerant finance remains one of the biggest obstacles for Europe biotech startups. Over the last 10 years, startups in the United States have received 9 times more venture capital investment than startups in the European Union. That is not a gap we can ignore. This is why the Biotech Act, as proposed last December by the Commission, is so important. It is designed to make Europe a better place to develop, finance, and scale biotechnology. The Biotech Act proposal will help create stronger financing environment for biotech startups in the EU, and we are already moving. Together with the European Investment Bank Group, we aim to mobilize 10 billion euro of investments into this sector this year and next year through the Biotech EU initiative. And this is before the Act has even been adopted. The Biotech Act also addresses another critical issue, clinical trials. We are also proposing to change the clinical trials regulation to make it easier to conduct multi-country trials and speed up clinical trials with the use of artificial intelligence. This is a key condition for attracting investments to Europe. We are also proposing an additional year of supplementary protection for developers of the most innovative biotech medicines, provided they carry out clinical trials and significant manufacturing steps here in Europe. This will incentivize the innovation and investment we need here in Europe. We are also proposing other key industrial enablers. High-impact strategic projects will receive EU support, including AI accelerators, manufacturing capacities to help startups to scale up their activity, and centers of excellence for advanced therapies to help translate research into commercial manufacturing. Medical devices, another area where Europe must remain a world leader. We need rules that protect patients, but also allow innovators to move faster. That is why we have proposed simpler and more proportionate rules for device developers, with special support for breakthrough devices and devices for small patient populations. This is especially important for startups, SMEs, and innovators. But the future of European healthcare is not only about new treatments. It is also about stronger prevention. Cardiovascular diseases cause 1.7 million deaths every year, and they cost over 282 billion euros per year. Yet, nearly 80% of this damage could be prevented. That is why we adopted the Safe Hearts Plan also in December. It is built around prevention, early detection, and screening. And it will benefit enormously from the innovation-friendly ecosystem we are incentivizing through the Biotech Act and the revision of the medical devices rules. Because prevention today is increasingly technological. It is about better diagnostics, better screening, better risk prediction, better use of data, and better tools to help people manage their health earlier themselves. This is where artificial intelligence can make a real difference. And the European health data space will be the digital backbone of this new approach. It will allow secure, interoperable health data to support better care, better research, and better innovation. It can help fuel responsible AI for risk prediction, prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. And it can help Europe use one of its greatest strengths, high-quality health data within a framework of trust. We're also improving the way we innovate health technologies and how they are assessed. Under our rules for the health technology assessment, member states can now jointly assess the relative effectiveness of innovative health technologies and avoid duplicating the same work, making the process quicker and helping open up earlier patient access. At the same time, access to innovation must go hand in hand with resilience. With the pharmaceutical reform and the Critical Medicines Act, we are strengthening European production, improving supply chains, and supporting better access to medicines. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Europe's moment. We have the science, we have the talent, we have the industrial base, and increasingly we are putting in place the regulatory and financial tools to match our ambition. But we need investors, we need industry, we need startups, we need researchers, because the goal is bigger than competitiveness itself alone. It is about saving lives, securing our future, and ensuring that Europe remains a haven for health innovation and scientific excellence. And we have no time to lose. Thank you very much for your attention.
EU Commissioner Várhelyi, I wanted to ask so many questions, but I was told you have to run to catch your plane.
Yes, my plane is just about to take
So
off.
next year at BioCap, we'll have the interview.
Yes.
Thank you
so
very much. EU
Thank you.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Várhelyi. And